You like going to summer camps? I remember when I actually ended up going to a summer camp, more kind of like a school, more or less part of it. Like you kind of just like visit the school anytime. It has like fun activities that you could just do all around and have like scheduled things, and it was like pretty fun for the most part. Like I remember like going to them, and it was like it wasn't like a bad time honestly. But I do think any of those experiences would ever live up to what Yuri ended up having to do because he ended up back in 2015 to 2016 spent 15 days in a North Korea like summer camp trip, and he made it out of it very much not brainwashed. He was not indoctrinated to the whole thing that was of North Korea. And I know it sounds like that this is going to be like a little bit of a bad thing, but it's kind of more of an actual wholesome thing and more just like a interesting insight to just a little bit about like North Korea. Like I don't have much of a fascination with like North Korea as most people would kind of do. This is kind of the more like interesting story from like the perspective of someone who was kind of just going into this because Yuri, like he actually had a little bit of a actual fascination with the country itself. He saw on a TV documentary in Russia, which he was born from, that his perception of it was that it was under siege by its capitalist neighbors. So his curiosity piqued, and he found the Russian equivalent of Facebook and joined of a group called the Solidarity of North Korea, which kind of led him down to the camp where he can just pay $300 for like all the expenses and the flight and foods and everything else, so that he would kind of just spend 15 days there. And his parents just allowed it. I guess I'm not sure why you would ever want to send your kid to North Korea in any sort of way. Like I probably wouldn't want to send my kid to North Korea, but like I guess these kids were like I guess their parents were just like, yeah, that's fine, son. Go ahead. You can go and meet Kim Jong Un if you want to. Just make sure you can get a photo if you like. Honestly, if you try to take a photo of Kim Jong Un, you know what would happen, okay? You absolutely know what would happen. I don't even need to say it. The first we spent 2 days in Pyongyang. We were constantly supervised. They kept pushing us into supermarkets so we spend money. What was funny is that it was really easy to buy vodka and cigarettes. Kids in our group, some as young as 12, bought North Korean rice vodka, brought it back to the camp, and got actually drunk on the first couple of nights. That is so interesting though that they were able to just able to purchase vodka and cigarettes, and were just able to kind of just sneak that into the camp. Like I feel like you weren't able to like buy like anything illegal on there. Like is like yeah, not even trying to get like weed or like a cigarette out there. Like trying to get those and like just have them casually. I feel like there was to be like some sort of like I don't know, like the all like eyes of God just like trying to like supervise me on every move that I make. And if I take the wrong move, I'm dead from the whole thing. But I guess those kids are just a lot more braver, and I guess the things in there are just a little less strict. But like I don't know, man. Like personally, I probably would not take any chances. Like I wouldn't even do a cig. I wouldn't even do a cigarette like vodka, and like and that part of thing. Like I just wouldn't want to try and do anything like that, to mess up maybe like the experience. Upon arriving, the staff was very welcoming, cheering us on while they stood in a long line. About 5 buses of the children arrived. Though most of us were Russian, there were also groups of children from Laos, Nigerian, Tanzanian, and China. However, the North Korean children in the camp were quite segregated from us, and we only met them on our last day. I think that was deliberate, preventing them from talking with us about their experiences. The summer camp had many activities such as beach outings, sandcastle building competitions, and swimming, but it also had some really weird rituals. We had to clean statues of North Korea's former leaders. One morning, we woke up at 6 a.m. to clean the monuments. We didn't have any sponge or anything, we were just brushing off the dust, and even though the monuments were cleaned professionally every week, it was strange. We also had to participate in concerts, singing propaganda songs in Korean about North Korea's supreme leaders, using lyric sheets translated into Russian. All of that honestly does not surprise me in the slightest. This is like the only country where like you have to like worship Kim Jong Un. Like you literally have to lick his boots. You have to like I have no idea what you just kind of do. The moral point is like he's your God, he's your savior. You do not like disrespect anything. Okay, he's the Jesus of like everything of this like part of the world, and you refuse and you denying that right to believe that he is a punishment from everybody else. They try to brainwash us in many ways. We played the computer game where your character, a hamster in a tank, had to destroy the White House. One kid became so indoctrinated afterwards that he joined the Communist Party in Russia and was always posting about North Korea. For me, it didn't work. The propaganda was too straightforward. I was also too frustrated with the strict schedule of to be brainwashed. For example, when I was sick, they wouldn't let me skip early morning exercises. Okay, I'm not even going to lie. I want to know what that hamster just taking over the White House is kind of just like. I know it's like just like I'm not. Again, I'm not fascinated by the North Korea stuff, but this is kind of is like making me feel like yeah, I understand. I just want to know what the hamster kind of is. Like, what the hell is he kind of just doing? Does he have like a squad of hamsters and all that? Like, what's like the deal here with all this? Like, are you getting like some G-force up in this? Like, do we have that? Also, the food there was also nothing but rice, wedges, and bread that they were actually just fed constantly. And when he ended up coming back from the 15 days, Yuri ended up purchasing himself like 3 meals of Burger King that he called just like capitalist food. It's because it was just so bad that he just ordered Burger King, which to be fair, like Burger King's not that bad. I've tried it like many times. It's not as bad as people kind of just say it is. So I understand, but I also pretty much understand the whole thing with like the rice. Like if you cannot put anything in the rice, like they'll add stuff onto the rice. Eating the plain rice, like every single day, would honestly be very like vomit inducing. Like I very much would understand like the absolute struggle that he would just end up having to go through, having to just eat wedges and just regular bread too. They couldn't even be bothered to give him like an actual like option. Like they were just literally treating like they were actually just giving like actual prisoner food, like just like to these kids, and just expected them like, oh yeah, by the way, well, you have to make sure you clean up like these monuments and all that. Like our beloved Kim Jong Un. Like we need to make sure that these things are actually done for everybody out there. Like you want to believe him, you can. You can stay a little bit longer. Despite the boring, miserable, and overall control experience, I returned next year, and I don't like confrontation, and the Communist Party officials had already signed me up, so I went again. It was a stupid decision to return, and I don't know why my parents let me go, but I totally do it again. I can easily make friends just by talking about my experiences, and people just want to hear about North Korea. There's even some mixed opinions about Yuri's experience when he very much went on to them, such as comments as like, that's a plan between both countries not to train the children in the military. It's not too bad to go for a free holiday to learn how to defend yourself. So other like comments like, you're using the word camp for both Russia and North Korea. This is painting a pretty picture in my head. And then this guy at the bottom just saying, this is how you teach your kids to enjoy what they got. All in all, it's by far just one of the most interesting like stories that I have ever read. And honestly, one that I honestly don't regret reading after honestly at all. Because it's just such a fascinating thing of just someone kind of documenting their time on something like this, especially with North Korea, because it's just like how like you can almost easily fall into that trap just to constantly keep promoting something that like is always meant to like kind of brainwash you into a certain degree. And Yuri was kind of just a strong enough man to kind of just see the bullshit like right through from the whole thing and just make it out of there, tell like a good, fascinating story, and honestly like credits all to him. Like he absolutely deserves this kind of just like a medal of honor for kind of just doing something that just completely interested him, which is to say a lot more than me, because I probably would not do it. I feel like I would probably fall into like a little bit of the trap, but like what do I know? Maybe I'm too a little bit of a blood American to be fooled by it and all that. So yeah, I thought it was kind of just a very just interesting story that I just wanted to share with people, because like that was just cool. And that's really about all there is to it. Bye bye.